She stepped on stage to support the children. But in the end, she was the one who most needed to be held. Demet Özdemir had been absent from the public eye for weeks. Her last interview showed her tired, distant, and the silence that followed only fueled speculation. So when her presence at a charity event for chronically ill children was announced, many hoped to see her rise again. And yes, she did rise again, but not as a star, as a human being. From the moment she arrived with a calm face and white dress, she devoted herself to hugging, listening, and looking at the children with disarming tenderness. She wasn't there as an actress, but as a wounded woman. Everything was going well, until a journalist shattered the atmosphere. Demet, is it true that Khan Yaman was also invited? Is his absence related to you? The air froze. Is his absence related to you? The air froze. She swallowed, lowered her gaze. I'm here for them, for these children, she said, her voice breaking. But some absences weigh more than 1,000 words. The tears came without warning. The room went silent. A little girl handed her a drawing, a heart being hugged by a figure resembling her. Demet held it as if it saved her soul. Applause broke the silence. Not for fame, but for truth. Meanwhile, on the coast of Bodrum, Khan Yaman was spotted leaving a resort with Sarah Bluma. She was elegant, he remained quiet. When journalists mentioned Demet, Sarah stopped, visibly tensed up, turned around and left. Ken stood alone, silent, defeated by his own silence. Images flooded the internet. Her crying among children, him walking alone on the beach. Comparisons were inevitable. She, broken but dignified. He, cold and distant. A source close to Demet confirmed what many already suspected. She is deeply hurt but wants to heal, away from noise, focused on her work. What happened wasn't gossip. It was a lesson. Because yes, some women fall, but they fall standing. What happened wasn't gossip. It was a lesson. Because yes, some women fall, but they fall standing. And when they break, it's not weakness. It's everything they've endured in silence. In that room, holding a drawing and with her soul exposed, Demet reminded us that the truth doesn't always shine on red carpets. Sometimes it glows in the silence of honest tears. Looking at Demet Özdemir, you don't just see a successful actress. You see a woman who remained calm amid the storm, who chose silence when the world demanded explanations, and who walked through scandal and rumors with dignity. What impresses me most isn't her beauty, which is undeniable, but the serenity with which she faces what would collapse anyone else. The story with Khan Yaman is in the past, but how that past continues to haunt her says more about him than about her. While he jumps from one relationship to another, lost in lights and noise, she stays elegant, discreet, focused. And that's much harder. Strength is not shouting in interviews or showing off a new partner. It's holding on to who you are, even when it hurts. Many say Ken still loves her. Maybe. Many say Ken still loves her. Maybe. But what's love worth if it comes too late? He made his choice. The noise, the surface, the company of someone many see as opportunistic. Demet, on the other hand, chose not to compete. She didn't fight to defend her image. She just kept living, quietly leaving a mark. That, to me, is real strength. I've read comments saying she wants nothing more to do with that man, and I think it's fair. It's not about resentment, it's about self-respect. When a woman is hurt, not by hatred but by disappointment, a door closes that never opens again. What I admire most is that she never stooped low. She never provoked, never played the media game. And in today's world, that's almost revolutionary. It's sad that some still try to pit her against Khan's new partner, as if two women had to fight over the same man. But just look closely. There's no comparison. Not just in class, but in depth. One seeks the spotlight, the other shines on her own. What moves me most is how those around her respect her. Even Khan's mother, it said, preferred Demet to Sarah. Why? Because when someone is real, respect follows, even if paths diverge. That can't be bought. It can't be faked. It's earned. Demet reminds us that a woman's worth isn't defined by who she's with, but how she stands when she's alone. And she's done it with strength, without getting dirty, without throwing punches. Sometimes I think time will put everything in its place. Sometimes I think time will put everything in its place. Maybe one day Ken will realize what he lost. But by then, Demet will be far away, not just physically, but spiritually. Because while some remain trapped in their mistakes, others grow. She is no longer the same woman who loved him. She is no longer the same woman who loved him. She's stronger, freer, more complete. And no amount of fame can buy that. And no amount of fame can buy that. Demet doesn't shout. And no amount of fame can buy that. Demet doesn't shout, she doesn't explain. And that is exactly what bothers those who wanted to see her fall. But she won't. Because those who walk with a clean soul may take longer to arrive, but once they do, their light never fades. Because those who walk with a clean soul may take longer to arrive, but once they do, their light never fades. Even so, I refuse to lose hope. I want to believe that Demet still has the chance to rebuild herself. To pause, look within, and choose again, this time from truth, not pressure, because authenticity cannot be faked. Because authenticity cannot be faked. And if it was ever real, and I believe it was, she can still find it again. Demet doesn't need more rumors, or to feed speculation, or to stay trapped in the past. What she needs is to reconnect with that version of herself that once moved us. With the woman who acted with soul, with honesty, with passion. Because if she doesn't do it now, her story may become just another one. Empty, distorted by noise, and forgotten with time.